Last year at Scan Capture we had an idea, love the picture, and we called it Engage to Grow, because I think we realised that the richest source of assessment in any business is people, and 100% of employees are people, 100% of customers are people, and 100% of competitors are people.
And we've been in business 23 years, we've been making profit for 23 years, every single year has been profitable. Now, I have been with the business 19 years. I know it's a bit of a shock with this youthful and dynamic looking face. But it's true, I've been with the business 19 years. I've seen a lot of stuff, happen within the business. And, the majority of the business back then was built upon transacting lots of items. All IT products, PCs, printers, desktops, notebooks. We just sold loads of those things. And more recently, what I've wanted to do is really change the business and start to deliver more value for our customers. Value through services, understanding their business and deploying services to make their business better.
Some people have been with us since the beginning with some really, really highly skilled individuals. So why were we not getting the insight from them and feedback from them about what we should be doing? So at this point, we started to engage with Steve and Scan Capture about the possibility of an employee survey. Because we thought what we really needed to do was benchmark where we were at, really get some good feedback where we're at, but we thought if we outsourced it to a third party, we'd be more likely to get an open and honest and quite frank kind of response from our team. In some ways, it was good because we found that actually at heart, people really cared about the business. They really wanted to do good things with the business, but they were unclear as to where we were going. They were unclear as to what the journey was and what our plans was. There was two areas where that resonated that we really, really needed to work on. The first one was communication, and the second one was training and development.
We looked at the culture and competencies that were needed to be created within our business. These aren't our people values, these are our cultural competencies. We found them different. Our people values are for the people who behave in the business already. These are the people we're wanting to get into the business. So we look at customer. They have to have a customer mindset. They have to understand what a good customer experience looks like, feels like. They have to understand it's emotional buying a sofa. We also have resilience and change. As a business, we are on a journey of change and we change constantly. Every day, there's a new initiative, a new way of doing things. We have to react to feedback quickly from our customers and our competitors, so they have to be resilient to dust themselves off, get themselves up, and let's get back to work. We have to be able to present information and communicate to any audience, whether that be internally or externally. Back to Lanway's point, we had all this to communicate to internal sofa workers that had been with the business for 20 years, that we were going to do something completely different. Our competitors thought we were mad, thought our MD had lost the plot. So we had a lot of communicating to do. We also had to take personal responsibility. We have made mistakes and we've had to take personal responsibility for those mistakes. We haven't always got it right, but we have learned from everything we've got wrong.
I wasn't trying to make me feel any better by delivering something better. I was trying to do it better for my people so they could earn more money, so they could enjoy their jobs. So we asked them what they thought, and we looked at all the issues that we had around it. And what I decided was that we needed, from an L&D point of view, a checklist, or what I ended up calling an essence. And L&D stopped becoming a delivery animal and just became a facilitator. We stood there and made sure we facilitated the development of our people. And that was it. And we brought it much more central, my team more central, and we let the line managers and everybody do their bit for the first time ever. It made a huge difference.
18 months we did a lot of intervention, and we got rid of the pity party. Because 2 years before we'd been all about cost cutting. We'd be cutting people's hours. There was a very, very raw group, very distrustful when we started the programme of engagement with them, been there, done it before, and we're not whether we trust what you're doing. Then it started to ease after a period of time. You have to let people vent their frustrations. You've got to give them a boiling pot. You've got to let the steam out. So we did that, and then we did it again. And then we started to say, right, the pity party's finished. We can't carry on, focus on the history. We can't change the past. We can learn from it, but today is where we are today. And actually tomorrow is where we need to be. But we'll only get there if we change things now.
What I think we possibly firstly need to recognise is that what motivates sort of our employees to stay with us in terms of retaining them will differ to what motivates employees coming to us. So there'll be what I call retention drivers and attraction drivers, and they will differ for your staff compared to your prospective employees.
Listen, my granddad works at Leyland Motors, and when you asked him why did he work there, and why in the 1940s and 50s most people went to work, what did he go to work for? He had a little phrase, I go to work to put food on the table and a roof over my... Now, do you think for 1 minute my granddad, who was a painter, had studied Maslow? No chance. But I'll tell you what, on a deep human level, he understood the psychological contract that he had with Leyland Motors. Food on the table and a roof over my head. He even put them in the right order. He never said roof and food. He always said it in the order that Maslow wrote it. Unbelievable. That is what basic work is about for a lot of people. Every time I run this, say I'm running this session in Rolls-Royce, and I've got a person whose department is 400 people, I'll say, what percentage of your people are in there? Below, and all I'm asking to do is do two things, above and below the line, that line. And I'll regularly get 40% of people below the line, just ticking the box. Just coming up, doing enough, not doing enough to get sacked, they're not stupid, just doing enough to not get the sack. Imagine that. One of our clients is British Nuclear Fuels. That's pretty scary. Anybody studies Southwest Airlines, if you go for an interview to be a pilot at Southwest Airlines, the world's best airline by a country mile, you have to go wearing boxer shorts. You can wear a suit and a jacket and a tie and shoes and socks, but no trousers. Now, what does that tell you about their culture? If you're a pilot in there, what's your job going to be like? What do we want apart from you flying the plane and landing it? You can work it out, can't you? What do we want of a pilot who wants to be a stuffed shirt and not talk to anybody? What's he going to do when he gets his interview letter saying, please wear your boxer shorts and nothing else? What's he going to do? You're not going to come. Excellent. Just saved us a few hours there. Do you understand the point? Saved us a few hours. I was once in Atlanta, flying Southwest Airlines. There was lightning and thunder all over. There was thunder all over the place, and we were going to Philadelphia. And the pilot walked through, and somebody said to him, excuse me, Mr. Pilot, sir, can you get us to Philly? And he said, of course I can, madam. I'll get you to Philly tonight. Don't you worry about that. And he had, this is the pilot, a World War I flying jacket on with a leather collar, a World War I flying helmet on his head with goggles. You went, that's a pilot.
I think, like anything, for me it's more about blended learning. There are things that you can do absolutely, you don't need face-to-face, you don't need a kind of almost a relationship, it's finding that knowledge, whatever. How you apply it, what you actually do with it, the outcomes, that's where almost you need that human intervention. So I think it's very much, it's not one size fits all with everything.
With what Liz said, we all learn differently. And, you know, maybe depending on what's happening in your life, some people want to sit on their own in a room and watch a video or, you know, on YouTube or whatever. So you need to cater, I think, for all different styles of learning. So a combination of everything. But social media, to be honest, is key, I believe, to engagement with both your customers and your employees.
People want to learn and discover things now, but for me, I don't think you can ever lose the whites of their eyes moment when you sat in a room and you have those moments of reality and you get to share as a group and learn with your peers. I don't think you can ever get away from that. That's probably one of the best ways ever to get anything across.
We're seeing more and more candidates going online looking for interview tips and how to put a CV together. But there's so much of it about that there's nothing that's the same. So we get very mixed CVs and mixed interview feedback.
The generation of employees that we're taking into our business will have a different learning method than perhaps some of our more established employees. So you have to have a degree of flexibility, you have to have a degree of mix. I agree with Noel, and in fact all the comments, but Noel's touching on the whites of the eyes. If you want to have experiential change to really challenge that, I think the face-to-face is probably the preeminent model.
I'm here to reinvigorate myself. I think it's very hard when you've actually bought a business. I have partners, but it's great to come here, see other people like-minded, in the same vein as me, who want to build the business based upon the people that are employed by the company.
The real key thing for me from joining the NWEEG group is around talking to like-minded people who really get engagement, because I really get engagement, so it's great to really have that starting point. Within the sessions that I've attended so far, it's really allowed us to use engagement as the underlying theme, but then really start to think about how we can use it in the business at every level, from how we recruit people right through to how we induct them, how we then retain the great people within the business, and how we develop them.
I came into the meeting a little tired. Business is difficult, business is hard, but it brought me back into line, I need to do this, and watching all these people giving such great demonstrations of their own businesses really inspires me.
One of its rich elements is that people are very, very willing to share, because they don't feel that it's an environment where ultimately it's a regular networking event where you're likely to be pitched to. Ultimately, we all have an interest in our own organisation, but I think what's refreshing about NWEEG is that there's actually a commitment to want to help each other, and because the more you give, you tend to get it back as well. And I found that to be an amazing sort of outcome from my participation in NWEEG.
Well, I've known Steve from Scan Capture for the last 3 years, and I think what he's done is an amazing achievement to bring local employers together, really. There isn't very many employee engagement groups. In fact, I don't know of any employee engagement groups other than NWEEG, where people are actually really relaxed and can actually talk about the challenges with engaging employees, because it can be challenging. Every business has its own quirkiness. So I think Steve's done a great job in bringing us all together.
I think once I leave here, get back to work tomorrow, I'll be gathering the troops together and bringing them back together on this pathway. It's very difficult. I think I've spotted from other people speaking that you can wane, you can go with such a great impetus, it does wane off a little bit. I'm in the middle of that. It's given me that great feeling now to get back in there, get the guys around the table and say, come on, another year, let's get on to it.